What's up guys, it's Mitch with Gilco Productions, and this is the first ever YouTube video for Gilco Productions. So pretty exciting day. I mean, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm super excited to share some things with you guys. You know, one thing that happens to me a lot is I get a lot of DMs and people are asking me what kind of equipment I use, or do I have any tips on export settings for Instagram? Do I have any tips on general export settings for YouTube, for Instagram, for Facebook? Why does my stuff post so clear? Bunch of different questions. So my goal here is to create a YouTube channel that not only helps answer those questions, but it also shows some of the behind the scenes, like how I prep to shoot stage, how I prep to shoot my photo shoots and different events. And I wanted to start off by making my first video kind of explain to you guys like what cameras we use and what lenses we also use. So I want to start off by saying this video is shot on the Sony a7 IV, and the lens I'm using for this particular shot is the 24mm 1.4 G Master lens. I absolutely love the 24mm focal length. I think that it shows a lot in shot, but it does a really good job of not making my face look too distorted. Just kind of moving along, showing you our other bodies. So just to tell you all of the bodies. So we shoot on Sony cameras as a whole. We shoot with the Sony a7 IV. I think that that's a really good budget-friendly hybrid camera because we both do both photos and video. So I wanted a good camera that can deliver, in my opinion, what's still a professional level photo, while at the same time still giving me that crystal clear, sharp video that I'm looking for. And the Sony a7 IV does that perfectly. Another camera that we use is the Sony a1. That camera actually is it's an overkill, honestly. Like it does more than what we need it to do. We do utilize the fact that it can shoot in 8K at times. Usually our prejudging clips for stage video stuff, we do shoot that in 8K. And that's just so that we have the ability to crop in or kind of adjust the however we want. And whenever you put it on Instagram, it holds up a little better. For the most part though, we shoot, I'd say 90% of everything in 4K. The other camera is going to be the a7S III. That camera is my personal workhorse. I use that camera a ton. It, for the most part, like Sony cameras in general do really, really good in low light. And being in the fitness industry, I find myself more and more in areas of less light. These gyms are just dungeons, really. So, but breaking down my lenses now, after I've told you my bodies, I've got the 24mm 1.4. That's on the camera. I told you about that one. And just stepping up in focal length, the next lens I would like to talk about would be the 50mm G Master. So this lens right here is actually like crazy sharp, really, really good lens. And so as you step up in millimeters of lens, what you're going to notice is it's going to create more compression to the background. So the background will become more blurry and what's in the shot will get tighter. So like if I were to put the 50mm lens on this camera and I don't move, the shot would probably be like right here. And as you continue up in millimeters, it's close to where, like if I put my 135 on here, it's probably just going to be like my face. When I'm buying a lens, I want the lens to perform well for both photo and for video. So a lot of the lenses that I've chosen along the way, I haven't just kind of chose willy-nilly. In fact, I've probably done it the hard way and bought like another lens and was like, this just isn't giving me the look I want, and then buy another lens and I'm like, I ain't quite there. And then I buy another lens and then I've kind of like stumbled on what I think now is I'm pretty set with the best lenses that I like for the Sony cameras. And when I'm buying a lens, I really focus on, I use autofocus 99% of the time. I'm using autofocus and I want a lens that's going to perform really, really well. So something that you might not take in consideration is that the camera has its own autofocusing ability, and so does the lens. And if you don't pair up the speeds, then you're actually holding yourself back. And that kind of is one of the factors that goes through my mind when when picking lenses. And the 50 just does a phenomenal job with that. It nails focus every time. I rarely drop focus. And for the video, it looks amazing because it's a 50 1.2. For video, I don't find myself shooting wide open a whole lot. By wide open, I mean shooting at 1.2 or 1.4 or 1.8 or as shallow as the lens can shoot. I'm actually shooting this video right now at 1.4, which is wide open, but the reason why I'm choosing to do that is because I'm not moving. My camera isn't going to have to hunt for me or move around, or there's not going to be a whole lot going on. But when I shoot stage, I will take a lens, just like maybe the 51.2, and I'll stop it up. So maybe I'll shoot it at like a 3.5. And that just kind of gives me like a little cushion there so that whenever I'm moving around or the athlete's moving, the camera doesn't have to work as hard to really nail focus. So after the 50, we're moving over to the 85. And for the 85, I don't use the G Master series. I actually use, grab focus, block my face. I actually use the Zeiss. The Zeiss 85 for me just really gives amazing contrast and really, really good colors right in the lens. This is probably one of my go-to lenses for photo shoots. If I'm taking any photos of stage, for the most part, I'm going to use the 85. I like that it's punched in enough to where I can reach the athlete, but also still wide enough to where I can get a full body. And amazing for lens. Some of my shots from Olympia, you guys may have seen big sweeping shots. Some of them were on the 85. Just moving up in focal length here from the 85, I go to the 135. This lens is it holds a unique spot, kind of like, so the lens is the G Master 135 1.8. The lens is crazy. You get crazy compression because it's really zoomed in. So like, I mean, again, in this shot, it would probably be just my face right here. I use it depending on the situation. Like some stages, when I'll shoot stage, just the way it is, I'm further away from the stage and I just can't reach the athletes the way I want to frame them. So in that case, I use the 135. I really like it for photos. When I do a lot of photo shoots, I use the 135 as often as I can. Realistically, I think it really dominates in the photo field. For the video field, it has to have a very particular place where it goes, but it works really well for video as well. That, for the most part, is my prime lenses. So I hold the 24, the 50, the 85, and the 135. I have a bunch of zoom lenses, but I really only want to talk about two of them. One, which is the lens that I use for 90% of my stage work, and that is the 24 to 105 f4 G Master lens. Now, the worst part about this lens is that it is an f4, so it does require light. But usually when shooting stage, they got tons of lights on them. So it's a well-lit area. I'm usually at around 400 ISO and plenty of light for the shot. So that's pretty much my go-to lens because I like the ability to be at 24 millimeters and get a wide shot of the area and then punch in and get 105 and still get a detail shot. All within the same person's routine. And I can get a variety of different angles with just my one camera. Another lens I want to talk about is the Tamron 28 to 75. This lens right here it's the workhorse. Like, I put this on my camera, and I actually have the version 1. They have a version 2, like a Mark II version of it, and supposedly it's sharper. Supposedly it's faster autofocus, and I have no complaints with this as is. This lens, for the most part, from a run and gun perspective, stays mounted to my camera. Usually, when shooting a bodybuilding show, I will have a lens that's a 24 to 105, and I will shoot almost everything at 105. And then my brother Gage will have the Tamron on 28 to 75, and he's getting the like wider shot or the variety of shots as well with his. But guys, that's the lens breakdown. We do have other lenses, but these are the main ones that we use. Like, we have a 16 to 35 wide angle lens, but for the most part, with the 16 to 35, I would use it if I was doing a lot of like run and gun, like YouTube vlog work, and I'm filming somebody. I might use that because it allows me to get really close to them and still put a lot in the shot. I'll also use the 16 to 35 a little bit like at weddings, and really is really good establishing shots, but that lens and the 70 to 200 lens, really, I barely use. I used to use the 70 to 200 a ton, but don't use it as much anymore. But that's the breakdown of the lenses. Guys, I hope you love this. This is my first YouTube video. I have no clue what I'm doing, but I plan on putting out content just to try to help you guys. If there's anything you want me to cover, to talk about, that you think that I haven't talked about yet or that you want me to talk about in the future, leave me a comment below. I want to make this channel all about helping everyone. I'm here to help you because when I first started filmmaking, I got a YouTube University degree. So I basically was just YouTubing everything I could to try to find answers. And while that is effective and it does work, it's not the fastest route there because there's so much crappy information out there and you learn the hard way. So my goal is to provide an outlet not only for creators, but for people who just want to buy a camera and up their quality of their own personal social media content. I'm here to help with that. So this is the first video, guys. Hope you like it. Like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and peace.